Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this session we are going to see how to display a message hello world using internal UART. Before proceeding with the program, let me give a small introduction to UART. So UART is a universal asynchronous receiver or transmitter, which is a serial communication protocol in which the data is transferred serially bit by bit at a time. Here asynchronous means there is no synchronization between the transmitter and receiver. Usually it works based on the certain predefined frame structure here. So this is a frame structure here. You can see here this is a start bit with which it will indicate that serial communication has started. Okay, and it is usually active low, and soon after that you can see the data bits ranging from D0 to D7. These are all data bits here. Okay, so we use usually 8-bit data which is always sent after the start bit here. Okay, so here you can see there is an active low and active high, active low, active high. Okay, so active low is 0 and active high is 1. So in that form the data are sent serially at a time. Okay, after that you can see there is a stop bit here. Okay, this is usually 1 or 2 bits in length, and it is sent after the data bits packet, okay, to indicate the end of the frame. So usually the stop bit is always logically high. Okay, and also along with that you can also see there is a parity bit. This is used to check whether data is properly received or not, and of course this will help the receiver to recognize the data pattern. Okay, now coming back to the various registers. So let me give a small introduction to the various registers in LPC 2148 based on ARM7 architecture. So these are the various registers. As you can see, the first one is line control register, which has two UART connectivity, U0 LCR and U1 LCR. Okay, and the second one is divisor latch register. It also has LSB and MSB. You can see here U0 DLL, U0 DLM, and U1 DLL, U1 DLM. Okay, so here DLL is for least significant byte, and DLM is for most significant byte, that is MSB and LSB here. Okay, and similarly we have transmit buffer register U0 THR and U1 THR, receive buffer register U0 RBR and U1 RBR, line status register U0 LSR and U1 LSR, and finally we have fractional divisor register U0 FDR and U1 FDR. However, I am going to give you a detailed explanation on all the registers, because all this register knowledge is very important before we proceed up with the program. Okay, so LPC 2148 has two inbuilt UARTs available, as you can see here, that is U0, okay, U0 and U1. We call it as UART 0 and UART 1. So we can connect two UART enabled devices at a time, such as the GPS module or Bluetooth module and so on, okay, with the LPC 2148 at a time. Now to program the data transmission serially using UART, we need these two registers, that is the transmitter and receiver. Let me show you that. So we need two registers, that is a transmitter and receiver. Okay, so in transmitter we have two pins associated with it. One is THR, another is TSR. Okay, so here THR means transmit holding register, and TSR is a transmitter shift register. So what happens in THR is, in this register it will hold the ASCII value of the characters. Okay, it is going to hold what? ASCII code or ASCII value of the characters which we want to transmit serially, right? Internally this will convert into parallel 8-bit ASCII value, and it will convert into serially and will be stored in a shift register. Okay, internally this parallel 8-bit ASCII value will be converted into serial and will be stored in the shift register, that is in TSR. Okay, then the shift register will transmit this 8-bit serially at each clock signals, as you can see it in the frame structure. Okay, in that data bits packet. So in that way it is going to send each and every bits serially at each clock signals. Okay, similarly in the receiver end also you can see it here. Yeah, you can see it here. Here also there are two pins associated with the receiver pin. Okay, one is RSR and RBR. RSR means receive shift register, RBR means receive buffer register. Okay, so whenever data is received, it stores in a shift register here. Okay, whenever the data is received, it stores in shift register, and that will be converted into parallel, and then it will be stored in the receive buffer register. So for every kind of communication we require transmitter and receiver. Okay, transmitter will hold the data when it is ready to transmit the data. Once it has transmitted, of course the receiver has to hold the data. Okay, that will be holded in the shift registers. Okay, then the communication happens for at each clock signals. This is how the communications happen serially from the processor to the controller. Okay, now let me go ahead with the line status register here, LSR. Yeah, so this is a line status register. Okay, now to check the data whether it is received or not, we need to check whether the THR bit is 1 or not. You can see it here, transmit holding register. Okay, so how many bit length it is? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So this is a 8-bit wide register, LSR, line status register. Now this line status register is used to verify whether we have received the data in the transmit or not. If the data is present, only we are be able to send the data to the receiver. Correct? Now to check whether we have data or not, okay, we are using some masking technique here. So what is that masking technique means? We are going to add, see now for example, this thing will be 0 0 0. Okay, assume this is also 0. Okay, at present 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0. Now all are 0. That means what? That means we don't have any data in the transmit hold register. Right? If there is no data present in the transmit hold register, then there is no question of sending the data forward to the receiver. Now how are we going to ensure whether the data is present or not? So for that we are going to add that with the 20H. Add that with 20H. 20H means what? You see 0 0 1 0, that is 2, 0 0 0 0 is 0. So if I, whatever the number it's stored in this LSR, if I add that with the 20H, then one will understand whether there is a 1 in the THR bit or not. If there is a 1, if the answer is 1, definitely there is a data. If the answer is 0, that means there is no data. Okay, this is how we are going to ensure. Similarly in case of a receiver shift register here. So here also we are going to mask it with the not 20H, here with 01H. Why? Because 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 1. Okay, here going to, for a receiver to check whether the data is present or not, we are going to mask it with the 01H. That means whatever number is present here, that we are going to do the AND operation with the 01H. But for THR we are going to AND operate with the 20H, so that we can come to a conclusion whether the data is present or not in both the registers, that is in THR as well as in a RSR. Okay, please make this point very clearly. Okay, now the next register what we are going to talk is on LCR, that is line control register. Let me take you to that particular picture here. Yeah, this is the line control register diagram. Okay, and we can see there are several columns here. One is holding word length, select number of stop bits, parity enable, even parity select, stick parity, set break, and device latch access bit. Okay, DLAB we are having. So this is also 8-bit wide. Okay, now here the first one we can see is a word length selector. So these are used for selecting the character length. Okay, character length. What should be the size of the character? Okay, so if you put 0 0, you will be having access to 5-bit character length. Okay, 5-bit. 0 1 if you put, then it will be for a 6-bit. 1 0 is for 7-bit, and 1 1 is for 8-bit. Now it is very common that in all our experiments we are using 8-bit characters. That means in place of this column we are going to place 1 1 here. Why? Because we want to represent a single character with the help of these bits. Okay, so in most of our application we do use this 8-bit representation, as it represents the ASCII format. Okay, since it represents the ASCII format, we are making use of 8-bit. So now For 8 bit, what do we need to place in this column? That is 1 1. Remember that. Next we have stop bits here. So if you're programming it to 0, if you're making this to 0, it means you are using only one stop bit at the end of the frame. Okay, only one stop bit, but that is sufficient for us. So, and if you are using 1, so in place of 0, in place of this, if you're placing 1, then you're using 2 stop bits at the end of each frame. And in most of the cases we use only one stop bit. So in this column, okay, or in this cell, the value will be 0. In this cell the value is a 1 1. You have to remember this. Okay. So usually if the peripherals are low, then only we will use 2 stop bits, or else in most of the cases we are making use of only one stop bit. For one stop bit the value is 0, for 2 stop bit the value should be 1. Okay. And next comes the parity enable and parity select here. So these are used when we go for some error correction and detection, then we require this parity enables. As I already mentioned you that parity bits are used for error correction to check whether the data is received or not successfully at the other end. Okay, for that purpose we use this. And so if you have to use this parity, then we have to enable this. Okay, and use the parity selector to meet our requirements. So there are 2 types of parity, that are odd parity and even parity. So in most of the cases we use odd parity. 0 0 is for odd parity and 1 1 is for the even parity. Okay, and stick parity you can ignore it for time being. And let me take you to the break control here, set break. So if you're programming this bit to 1, okay, and immediately the TXT pin, that is your transmit data pin of UART, will be forced low for a period of 1 character. Okay, so if the bit is enabled, then it differentiates the word. That means we know that in LPC 2148 based on ARM7 architecture, we have full word, half word and byte. Full word means it is 32 bit, half word is 16 bits and byte is 8 bits. Okay, now to differentiate this we use this kind of break controls here. Okay, so please make a note of this point. Okay, it means that after every 4 characters it tries to differentiate it. And the last one is the DLAB. This is called divisor latch access bit. So if you are making it to 0, okay, then you can access some registers like buffer register. And if you are making it to 1, then you can access some other registers like divisor latch registers or some other registers. Okay, so in our case we make it to 1 here. So to enable the divisor latch register, because before we transmit the data, this has to be made to 1. This has to be made to 1. Once you transmit the data, this has to be made to 0. That means before you transmit the data, I want this has to be 1 0 0 0 0 0 1 1. So what is your answer? 1 0 0 0 will give you 8, 0 0 1 1 will give you 3. That means at the beginning your LCR will be assigned with the 83H. Okay, after you transmit the data, it will be 0 0 0 0 0 0 1 1, that is 0 3. Okay, so later on LCR, once you transmit the data, LCR will be initialized to 0 3. So this is very important to know. Okay, so we are done with the LSR and LCR. Now we will go to the divisor latch register. Okay, let us see how we are going to derive the formula for the DLL and DLM using the baud rate. Let me show you the diagram. Yeah, so this is the device latch register. So we can see that it has 2 registers. One is DLL, another is a DLM here. Okay, so here the DLL is the LSB, this one DLL is the LSB and DLM is the MSB of the device latch register. So both together we have a 32-bit register. So that means DLL will hold 16-bit and DLM also will hold 16 bits each. Okay, so this is the formula you can see for baud rate. Baud rate is equal to peripheral clock divided by 16 of 16 into U0, that is UART 0 DLM plus UART 0 DLL of 1 plus div add val divided by mul val. Now at time being, if I make if I consider if I assume div add val and mul val as 0, okay, and the peripheral clock has is 15 megahertz and the baud rate is 9600, then definitely one can easily find the value for U0 DLM and U0 DLL. Okay, now you can see that since I assumed peripheral clock as 15 megahertz, okay, it depends upon the trainer kit what you use it. So I am using Chipmax Design Live. For that we are using 12 megahertz, but for some other kits it will be changed. Okay, so you have to contact the manufacturer to know the peripheral clock megahertz. Okay, so now let me take the concept of 15 megahertz here. Okay, and the baud rate is 9600, right? So it is here. Okay, now you can be easily able to find U0 DLL plus U0 DLM. So 15 divided by 16 into 9600 will give you 97 to the base 10. If you convert into hexadecimal, you will get the value 61 to the base 16. Okay, that means it is very clear that you divide that 97 by 16, so you will be getting the hexadecimal value. So whatever the value you are storing in a register or anywhere, it is nothing but the hexadecimal value. Okay, now since you got 61 to the base 16, it is very simple that this 61 is a 8 bit. Okay, this is an 8 bit. So 8 bit always be stored in LSB. Okay, first 8 bit will be stored in LSB. The second 8 bit will be stored in MSB. So since 61 is an 8 bit, it is directly getting stored in LSB, that is in U0 DLL. Okay, hexadecimal 0x. And after that it is we are going to put it as 0. Okay, we are placing 0 in place of DLM, and this is DLM here. Okay, here in U0 DLM we are going to assign UX00, right? So this is how to derive the formula for U0 DLL plus U0 DLM. All these things you have to write it in the program. Okay, now we have one more last register, that is FDR, that is fractional divider register. Okay, this one. Okay, now this is a fractional divider register, which is actually 32-bit register, and out of these 32-bit we are going to use only 8 bits in each of the LPC2148. Okay, so here the first 4 bits, as you can see, the 0 to 3 bits, these are for divide add value, and next 4 bits, that is for 4 to 7, is used for mul val. Okay, so if you are programming these bits with the possible values, then you will get the accurate baud rates. Okay, so these are all the introduction for you to know the program better. Okay, now let me move on to the program. So in the program, as you can see here, this entire program is written using embedded C. Okay, written in embedded C here. So now first of all, we need to include several header files which will support the programs. One is lpc214x.h, okay, stdint and stdio.h, right? And after that, you can see there is one function declared here, UART0 initialization. We have to initialize the UART. That means what we need to do means we have to assign the values for LCR, LSR, DLL, DLM. Just now I explained you the theoretical concept. Now those things you have to initialize. Now you will understand why that value is been assigned to that. Okay. Next, after that, since we are displaying that hello world message in internal UART, we are not displaying it in any controller. Okay, we are displaying it in internal UART. Okay, so that's the reason we need to initialize all this UART. And after that, we have several variables declared like delay, pointer. Okay, pointer is to point to the character, each and every character to display, and delay also we require so that we can give a proper delay after displaying each and every character in an internal UART. And this is the message we need to display. This is a complete message, that is hello world. Okay, you can also give your own message there, right? Now let me take you to the main function. Okay, I'm using while loop here so that the message will be repeatedly displayed on the UART. Okay, until an external interrupt is given to it. Okay, external interrupt you can give it, either you can switch off the button or you can use some external interrupt. Internal interrupt is there, so you can make use of that and you can stop displaying the message. Okay, now till there the message will display. That is why the reason we had written the entire code within the while loop here. Now first of all, we are initializing it. Okay, we are calling that function UART0 init. Now let me take you to that function. As you can see here, pin select 0 is equal to pin select 0 or with the 0x00000005. Now I need to show you the picture of the pin diagram of this thing LPC2148. Okay, there I will explain you why the reason I had put this number here 5. Then what are this pin select 0 Okay, so let me show you the picture of the, this is the pin diagram of NXP LPC2148 guys. Okay, in each side we have 16 pins. In each side we have 16 pins. All together it will take you to the 64 pins here. 64 pins here. Total 64 pins we have it in LPC2148. Okay, and this is a quad flat processor. Okay, and of course we can see that in each pin we have minimum of 1 functionality and a maximum of 4 functionality. Now let me tell you what is that 1 functionality and 4 functionality. So you can see in 18th pin we can see there is a 1 functionality, that is VSS, right? This is 1 functionality. Similarly, just go to this 26th pin and see the functionalities, how many functionalities we have. We can see port 0.3, SDA 0, this is second functionality, MAT 0, third functionality, EINT 1, that is fourth functionality. Okay, remember that, right? In one pin of LPC2148 you can have 1 functionality minimum, or it can go up to 4 functionalities. Okay, and to access this we have only 2 ports in LPC2148, only 2 ports, port 0 and port 1. You have to remember that, port 0 and port 1. Port 0 will support for 32 bits. Okay, that means 32 slots it can give, or you can tell 32 pins it can support. Similarly, port 1 is also used for 32 pins. So 32 plus 32, 64. So all the 64 pins are there, no? You can access this using 2 ports only, port 0 and port 1. Remember it. Now you can see here, so for example, in the 19th pin and the 21st pin, what can you see here? Look at, these are called GPIO, general purpose input output. Port 0.0th pin, see P0.0 means what? A port 0.0th pin. In that, this is the first functionality. Second functionality is what? TXD, transmit data. As I told you already, whenever you want to send the bit serially one after the other, you need to have the transmit data and receiver data. There should be a data which has sat in the transmit hold register. Then only you can send it forward to the receiver end, right? So I want this functionality, which is this second functionality. Okay, and also in 21st pin of LPC2148 you can see there is a port 0 dot first pin, in that RxD0, receiver end. So these 2 functionalities are required. Now if you want to access the second functionality or third functionality, we have some bit codes. Okay, remember that. Now for example, if I want to access port 0.0, I will use 00. Okay, I will use a 00. Second functionality 01, third functionality 10, fourth functionality 11, like that. Okay, now since I want to access the second functionality, so what is the number bit code I'm using? 01. Okay, similarly in this functionality what I'm using here also 01, because I want RxD0 and TXD0. And remember, in the port 0, which pin you are using? 0th pin, and here first pin. Okay, in place of that pin I need to write 0101. Okay, I hope you all understood this. Now let me show you another diagram of pin select 0. Okay, look at this diagram. So what you can see it here. So here we have 3 pin selections. Okay, we are having 3 pin selection register. This is called as pin select 0. Pin select 0 means what? You are using port 0 for pin selection. Okay, pin select 0 means a pin of port 0 selection. This one. This is again a pin 1 selection. That doesn't mean that port 1. This is also port 0 only, because I told you in port 0 we have 32 pins. Okay, it has been split up into 2. Now port 0.0th pin to port 0.15th pin. Similarly, port 0.16th pin to port 0.31st pin. So port 0 is using all the 32 pins. Okay, but in the port 1 you see P1, it can use only port 1.16th pin to port 1.31st pin. That means next 16 pin is reserved for some other purpose. Okay, in port 1, port 1.0th pin to port 1.15th pin are reserved for some other purpose, but we can access the data through port 1 only from these pins, 16th to 31st pin. Now in the program, what did I write? I wrote a pin select 0. Pin select 0 means what? This one, first line. Okay, in that as you seen here, we are using port 0.0th pin and the first pin. In 0th pin, second functionality. In first pin also, second functionality I need to use. For second functionality, I need to write bit code what? 01. So what I will do here is, where is 0th pin? This one. This and this I need to put what? 01. Okay, right? 01. So I will write here 01 here. Okay, 01 here, and here also 01. Rest all will be 0. At that time, tell me what is the number you are going to get here. 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 and last one 0 1 0 1, that is 5. Okay, that is the reason I had put 5 here. Remember, so this means you are enabling the UART 0 receiver and transmitter pin. You are making it enable. Okay, how I got 5? I told you I put in P0 this one here and here 0 1. You can see above 0 1 0 1. 2 bits are there for each pin. 2 bits are there for each pin. Okay, that is the reason I got it this number here. Okay, hope you all understood here. If you have any queries, you can post your comment, okay, in the comment section below. I will clarify your doubts. Okay, let me go to the second line. Next we need to use LCR. And I told you already why I am using 83. So 83 means of course 10000011. That first bit is for DLAB and the 3 is for we are using 8-bit character length. Similarly DLM and DLL we are using 0x00. Of course we know this answer. 0x is 61 because the 61 is the hexadecimal code of 97. Okay, so that value we are going to store it in DLL and DLM. And LCR, again I told you, once you are enabling it, okay, once you are initializing it, next should be DLAB should be 0. Then only the transmit bit will transmit the data to the receiver end. Okay, so this is the initialization of UART. And after that we are taking the first character in the pointer, and of course we need to set the cursor positions, right? So send the character, this is a function, and for that function you are passing the hexadecimal of D. Actually the enter hexadecimal of ASCII code of enter key is 13. That means new line, you know, right? That line feed we say. Okay, line feed is D. So this is the ASCII code of line feed, so that the cursor will be in a new line and it will be pointed to the first position, that is carriage return, that is 10. Okay, ASCII code of carriage return is 10 and ASCII code of enter key is 13. So D means 13, A means 10 here. So that we are going to pass it as a parameter to the send character. So in the send character it will come here as a character, and you know this, see, use your LSR and 20. I hope you know 20H to ensure whether we have data in a transmit or not. Okay, 01 is to ensure whether the receiver has received the data or not. So of course in line status register we are going to add it with the 20H. Okay, if the data is there, then definitely it will pass it to THR. Look at here, THR, return the data to THR, transmit hold register. Once THR is holding the data, definitely it will be holding the ASCII code of that value. Then from there it will go to the shift register, serially bit by bit the data is getting transferred. This is how it works. Okay, so that 2 lines we are written in this particular function, and similarly the pointer is going to point to the very next element for until it reaches the last element. Okay, hello world. So the next pointer will point to the address of the second character stored in THR. Increment the pointer and check for this statement while loop. Okay, use your LSR and 0x40. If it is equal, then you move the next character. If it is equal, move the next character. So while you display, please provide a proper delay here, and you can see we had given 6000 delay. Okay, because the processor works too fast. Okay, now if you want to see the output slowly and steadily, then you can give a proper delay so that you can see each and every message displaying onto the console or in the internal UART clearly. Okay, so 2 for loops is been given, 1 to send the data, okay, LSR to ensure the data is present or not, and the next one this is for the normal delay. means while displaying. Okay, this is to this delay is used so that once the transmit data or once the receiver data has received the data, give some time so that the transmit data will send the another character. Okay, one by one character it sends, no, serial communication. Okay, that is why we require one serial interface cable to connect from the processor to the controller, that I am going to show you while executing it, because we know that all the data are passing serially, one by one bit. Okay, bit by bit it is going to transfer. Okay, so to make that properly available, okay, we are using this internal delay. External delay we are using it to display purpose finally. Okay, so this is a simple embedded C program to display a message hello world using internal UART. Okay, now let us all move on to the execution part of this program.
Let me introduce the ARM7 LPC2148 trainer kit. ARM stands for Advanced RISC Machines, LPC Low Power Consumption 2148. Okay, so this LPC2148 is a type of microcontroller which is using the ARM7 cores. So first of all, let me give you a brief introduction to all the different parts of the LPC2148 microcontroller. So as you can see here, so this is the device of LPC2148 from NXP. So this is the microcontroller here. Okay, and you can see this is a quad flat microcontroller, because in each side of the microcontroller there are 16 pins. So altogether we have 64 pins. Okay, and you can see this one. So this is the 12 megahertz crystal oscillator device speed. And you can see here, so this is 32.768 kilohertz crystal oscillator for RTC clock. And here, this is VREF. So this is a jumper setting for ADC external voltage reference. So you can see here, this one. This is a 5 volt red LED indication, this one. Similarly, you can see here just below that, this is 3V3 green LED indication. Okay, and this is the battery, this one. Battery for RTC backup running. And this one is the power on or off switch. Okay, so whenever you give the 9 volt DC power supply, this is a switch here to switch it on or off. And this is the input power jack. This is the input power jack. This is the input switch for external interrupt. Okay, so this is a switch here, on and off. Okay, so this is the input switch for external interrupt, and this is the input switch for reset the device, resetting the device, input switch. Okay, similarly we have two UART cables here. So this is the UART 1 connectivity and this is the UART 0 connectivity. So UART stands for Universal Asynchronous Receiver and Transmitter. Okay, and these are the LEDs for PWM output. There is an LED here. Okay, this stands for LEDs for PWM output, and this is the PWM enable switch. Okay, this is a switch here. Okay, on and off. Yes, and this is the USB connector for ISP programming and serial port connectivity. So this is where we need to plug in the serial interface cable. Okay, so that we can boot the program from the processor to the microcontroller. Okay, and these are the LED indication. This is used to confirm the USB connection has been established successfully or not. Right? And this is the switch selection. These two are the switch selection. So this is used for switch selection for ISP or UART. So the selection will be for ISP if the switch has been pressed, else it will be for UART. Okay, so this is a switch for on and off. Similarly, this is the switch for to enable the ISP. So both are for ISP, this is for PWM. Okay, and these are all the FRCs. You can see there are 5 FRCs: FRC1, FRC2, FRC3, FRC4 and FRC5. Okay, in this except FRC2, rest all are having 10 pins. FRC2 is having 16 pins. So here this is the IO pole 10 pin FRC connector for FRC5. This is for FRC4 10 pin. This is for FRC3 10 pin. This is having a 16 pin, as I mentioned you, that is FRC2, and this is for FRC1 10 pin. This is the LPC2148 device daughter card. Okay, and you can see here this is the USB ISP programmer daughter card. So this is the serial interface cable. Okay, so one end we are connecting it to the UART slot here. Okay, in this way, right? And other end USB, this is connected to the processor. This is how we can be able to boot the programming from the processor to the microcontroller. This is the FRC cable. These two are FRC cable, flat ribbon cable. Okay, so you can see there are 10 pin flat ribbon cable. As I mentioned you, for FRC1, FRC3, FRC4 and FRC5 we use this cable. Okay, similarly this is a 16 pin FRC cable, 16 pin. This is used only for FRC2. And this is the DC power supply of 9 volt and 2 amplifier. Okay, and this is the input jack to which we are going to connect it to the LPC2148. Okay, so LPC2148 trainer kit, we are connecting this to this input jack. So now as you can see that the serial interface cable is connected to the processor, and from that we have connected it to the UART slot here. Okay, and once it is successfully connected, you can see the indication there, LED indication. This will tell the successfully establishment of the serial interface cable to the UART slot. As well as you can see the power cable here. These are the two LEDs which is going to tell us whether the power is switched on or not. Okay. Yes. So as per the program I had explained you earlier, so let us see the demonstration of the hello world message using internal UART, that is universal asynchronous receiver and transmitter. Okay, so let me show you the LPC2148 kit. So this is the microcontroller here, and you can see the LPC2148 microcontroller here. Okay, which has 16 pins in each of the sides. So total 64 pins we have here, and you can see that this is the serial interface cable. So this is the serial interface cable. Okay, so one end of the USB we have to connect it to the processor here, and other end has to be connected to the UART slot. Okay, and as I have explained you in the program that we have UART 1 and UART 0. So you have to connect it to the UART slot, and you can see one of the LED is illuminating there. Okay, and you can see these are the switches over here, ISP. Okay, and you have to click on this. So please press these two UART cables. Right. After that, we have to connect a DC power supply of 9 volts. DC power supply of 9 volt. Okay, and you have to switch it on. So once you switch it on, it is very clear that we have connected the serial interface cable as well as the power supply of 9 volt. Now let us see how to execute this program using Keil software. I am using the Keil software version 4 here. Okay, so first of all we have to create a project in this way. Click on the project here, click on new Microvision project. Okay, then you have to create a folder. So let me create a new folder here. So I will write I'll create a folder here by the name UART1. Okay, so this is the name of the folder, right? So in this folder path, I am going to create my project file. So the name of the project file, I will keep it as UART itself. So no need to give any extension because we can see here it is saving as type UVPROG. Okay, click on save here. Once you click on save, it will be asking you for which kind of microcontroller you need to connect to. So you can see here there is an NXP founded by Philips. You have to click on this and you have to search for the relevant LPC 2148 microcontroller here. Okay. So as you can see here, we can have LPC 2148 here, and when you click on it, you can see the description here. ARM7 TDMI, thumb instruction, debugger, multiplier and IC based high performance 32-bit RISC microcontroller. Okay, it has 512 KB on chip flash ROM with the in-system programming ISP. Right. So once you get this, you have to click on OK, and you have to click yes on this startup code. Okay. Once you do that, you can find one target folder here. Okay, you can find one target folder here. So click on that target folder. You can find the source group 1 and the startup.yes. This is the path wherein you need to put your files. So I will create a file here. Once I create a file, I need to copy the code here. Okay. So as you can see that we have written the code here. Now we need to save that. Okay. So Ctrl S, save it in the same path in which you have created the project. So you can save it in this particular path. I will name it as uart.c. Since this is an embedded C program, you have to give the extension as uart.c. Save it here. Okay. Once you save it to that, you have to click on the source group, double click, and attach that file to the group. Okay, that is uart.c. Click on the add button once and click on close. So you can see it here in the target folder, uart.c has been successfully added to the group. Right? Now, after that we have to compile our program. Okay, you can see the button here, translate control plus F7. Click on this. You can see there are no errors and no warnings, 0 errors and 0 warnings. You can see it here. 0 errors, 0 warnings. Okay. After that, you have to build your program, or else you have a key F7 in the keyboard. You can click on that, and you can see here 0 errors and 0 warning. Okay. Also, if you want, you can even rebuild the code. Okay. Now, after doing this, you have to set the target path here. So you have to click on this option. Can you see here? Target options. Okay. Click on this target options, and in this, in the second tab, target, you have to click on use microlib option. Use microlib option. In the third tab, output, you have to click on create hex file. In the listing, you have to click on C preprocessor listing, and in the linker, you have to click on use memory layout from target dialog. So once you do all these settings, you have to click on OK. Now, after you do the settings, we have to double click on the flash magic here. So this will help you in burning the code from the processor to the microcontroller. Okay. So here, first of all, we have to select the device to LPC2148, as you can see here, and you have to select the port here, COM4. Okay. This you can see in the My Computer Manage. If you go there and if you click on this device manager, you can see here Silicon Labs CP210X. Okay, so you have to install one driver for the communication, right? So here you can see it is clearly written COM4. So based on that, you have to select the COM4 in the COM port. Okay, and the baud rate what we have taken is 9600. Interface is none. Okay, and the oscillator megahertz for our kit is 12 megahertz. Fine. And later on, we have to browse for the hex file. Hex file has been already created there. Okay, while you build your program through the Keel software. Now we have to browse for that hexa file. So when you go for that, you can see there, here it is, UART dot hex. Okay. Yeah, UART dot hex file. Click on open and make sure you had connected the serial interface cable to the microcontroller. Okay. Before you click on start, make sure you have connected the serial interface cable to the UART slot. Also the power is switched on. Okay. Once you made it sure, then click on the start. And also here, before you click on the start, you can see in the step 4 option, you have to enable this verify after programming and enable this erase blocks used by hex file. After that, you click on start. When you're starting, you can see here, sometimes the error may occur. This is due to the loose connection happens between the microcontroller and the processor. Okay. So let me correct it. Okay. Now once you connect the serial interface cable to the microcontroller, you can click on start. Okay. As you can see here now, after I clicked start, you can see the finish button here. Okay. So once you see that, you can see the internal UART. Go to tools here and click on terminal and check for the port number, port COM4. Okay, with the 9600 baud rate, and then click on OK. You can see the hello world will keep on printing here. So this is your first program to display the hello world in the internal UART. Okay, and to stop it, you can just click on the power button here. It will stop here. Thank you.